Okay.
Mill? Okay, well, they asked for Mill.
Someone did ask for Mill.
Someone did ask for Mill. So. Okay, well, someone asked for Mill. But I was saying just wrapping this up. I would have one plummet effect main deck because there are just enough flyers, and the only place that's going to be completely dead is in a Gruul against another Gruul deck. So if you have a plummet effect, one is fine to main deck. So yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot too. This guy. This card's really interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It goes on top. You don't.
Yeah, put it on top.
Well, that just sets a new precedent.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'll draw it. I'll draw it on a different. I don't need the card now. I'll draw it on a different turn.
So looks like we don't have any mana here for Andrew.
nice
double
field ruin.
Draws.
Yeah. He's just waiting for Farrell to shuffle his deck so that he can.
Yep. Archive Trap.
Yeah.
Discard. Surgical Extraction. Come on.
They either split or Nate doesn't like to be on camera.
Oh, he is. Nate doesn't like being on camera.
Yeah.
Rip. So many Archive Traps. Man. Farrell says.
Well, didn't Farrell, like, isn't that a Wooded Foothills? He must have discarded that Wooded Foothills.
Yeah, he discarded it. He hasn't fetched it all.
Yeah. Way to go, Farrell.
Draw a land. He drew a land.
So the reason why Archive Trap does 13 is because 13 times 3 is 52. 13 times 4 is 52. You start the game with 7 cards, and then you draw your 8th card, and that's your deck. So there you go. Pretty cool. Not really. Archive Trap.
Archive Trap twice. Now, do it.
Archive Trap. Where's the Archive Trap? Well, he did search. Where's the Archive Trap?
He's waiting. Now he does it twice.
I don't think Farrell cares. I don't think Farrell cares. You like the main deck Kalidas?
Yes, 100%.
I don't. But I get it. I understand why. I knew as soon as Bloodbraid Elf got unbanned and everyone started playing 4 Bloodbraid Elves, I'm like, it is only a matter of time before you cut one of these for another 4-drop. It's only a matter of time. And they did. And it was right after Jund peaked. That's how you know your deck peaked, is when people start changing things like that. Like playing a 3rd color in a 2-color deck. Yeah, I mean, you know, there are a couple of different things you can do against Mill. One is you cannot search your deck. 2 is you can shuffle your sideboard in and have 75 cards. That works if they're not all dead. I would bring the way to the sideboard against Mill is you bring in every single card that is potentially relevant, so that you have more than 60, or you just don't care because you probably should beat them. Any deck that isn't control should probably beat Mill. I guess you could Mill over all of their combo pieces if you get lucky.
No, you know how you beat Mill?
How do you beat Mill?
So you're playing Storm.
Yeah.
And you put Through the Breach Emrakul in your sideboard.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
That's how you beat Storm.
Sure, man. Well, I overheard like apparently Gabriel Nassif was like playtesting Modern, and he was coming up against Mill so much they put a Kozilek in his sideboard.
Really?
The Kozilek Butcher of Truth. Yeah. I overheard someone talking about that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So there you go. If you're running into this a lot online, for whatever reason, do that. It will get milled eventually, and then you will shuffle all of them into your back into your library, which is like gaining 60 life. That's what I tell people about mill is like instead of having to do 20, you have to do like 53 or you
your
have to do like
Boros
52.
charm is 10 instead of 4.
Yeah, it is. But
which doesn't even scale well.
Considering that you have to do 2.5 times as much damage, yeah, that's fair.
I guess it's fair, yeah.
It's
scales. Scales exactly.
They don't have... The issue with mill is that they don't have enough things that cost 1 or 2. They have things that cost 2 and 3.
Yep.
The Archive Trap is 3.
They have the creatures that cost 1.
They have creatures... I'm just saying they don't have enough cards that cost 1 and 2.
All right, guys. Zach will be right back. I didn't see what he took off the Mosswort Bridge, but we have next game.
Only led with the fetch lands. I didn't have any. It's all shock lands.
That was a pretty nutty keep by Andrew. That would have been
Triple Archive Trap was hard to pass out.
that would have been crazy.
One land was Field of Ruin, so I mean, there's some running lands there. Exactly.
Well, we got about 2 hours till pre-release starts. Zach will probably continue to go over some cards with you guys, but unfortunately for me, I will not be staying for pre-release because I have to get up early in the morning. Yeah, and he is almost done. Got to go over some other cards, but yeah, we're almost through all the cards. We'll have green left, but yeah, I'll be peacing out here after the round. Yes, I have excuses. I'm lame, but I will not be doing any pre-releases this weekend. So my thing on pre-release and limited in general is, hi Tim. I enjoy doing chaos drafts. I enjoy doing formats that people are not familiar with, but I don't like it when they're like hard tested and everyone knows what the good cards are and everyone spikes it and whatnot like that. I like putting together like figuring out synergies that are just random, like tabletop magic, you know. Personally, so like the first night, I love doing the first night pre-release. Second day is kind of okay, but the third day, everyone already knows what's going on. At least the people that I run into, they know what everything is, and I'm like, you know.
Afterlife made a lot of flyers, so. Gruul's got a lot of haste, and that should probably be good in sealed. Yeah, if you get that.
Lol, it's because I win round 1. Yeah, it's because I'm a good Magic player.
They can't be countered.
Yeah.
Cards aren't hit right, get double right. They get plus and counter. I like the Orzhov card that's like the Curse of Death Soul plus the
What's up?
Yeah, that one is sealed.
We got our resident Robert Meadows here.
I'm Bob Fields.
He's Bob Fields. Bob Fields, not Robert Meadows.
I saw like hardest tyrant.
You doing what?
Triple right.
That was great.
You beating John was
Yeah.
pretty good.
No, the whole time I was like, he's going to...
Cling, cling, cling. Could I have attention in the room? What do you want, Tim? What's up? You have our attention.
Oh, did Farrell get that game? Big surprise. Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty clean.
I was really mad at Farrell because he said if we play, we do the 15 in, 15 out randomly. I was like, so
Yeah. Mrs. Obama, please get down. All right. So we're going to keep... so Farrell's going to go fetch, cast Serum Visions, and in response, he's going to cast 4 Archive Traps, and the game's going to be over, right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is the dream.
So we have a Scry at the bottom. We do have 1 Archive Trap in hand. And a Surgical. Surgicals are still in the deck, I think. Inquisition. He has lands this time.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what that other card is? What's that card second from the top?
So that one, I think, puts a creature, like you get to delve and put a creature back on top of their library.
Okay, Set Adrift. Okay,
Yeah. Pretty sure that's what it does.
gotcha.
But for every one of those you're bringing in or have in your deck, man, I am good at this. A non-land permanent on top of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was explaining this.
Eventually I'm going to know what all of the cards do.
I was explaining this to one of my friends. Modern is a knowledge-based format.
Oh, yeah, it's not a
And,
skill
like,
format.
So one of the things that I really loved that I was doing, I played in a Classic at SCG, and I was playing Jund. I played versus my opponent. He plays a Plains. I'm like, okay, this is weird. He has no turn 1 play. Might be like taxes or something like that. Turn 2, he plays another Plains, and he plays an enchantment. I'm like, this is Enduring Ideal. And I give that, I know what this is. And my opponent goes like, no, you don't. And then I win that game. He doesn't cast Enduring Ideal or do anything else really, because I just kind of kill him. And I ask him, can I get the Oracle text on the 7 mana spell that you play or whatever? He's like, describe it. He's like, okay, and I describe it. And he's like, wow, you actually know what my deck does. You're the first person all day to know what that is. If you know what every deck does in Modern, you'll do a lot better at the format than
Modern is a knowledge-based format, not a skill-based format. Modern is all about repeating play patterns. You have to know you have to know what those play patterns are.
Yep.
So if you know how your deck plays and your opponent's deck plays and how your deck plays against theirs and vice versa, you're going to be better off than your opponent. I've been playing my deck for 3 years. People are just now picking up this Phoenix deck. Who do you think's favored?
You.
That's right. I know how to play my deck. They don't.
I've been playing Jeskai for 2 years. That's why I do well with it.
It's how the stick to your guns strategy works. But at the same time, we're getting to a place where some of the decks are just so much more powerful than others that it is good to pick up that deck and play it. Another interesting thing about Modern is that there isn't a metagame because people are going to show up and play whatever they're going to play. So it's hard to make a metagame call. You just have to play something powerful and know how to play it. Okay. Man, that was quite the turn for Andrew. He did like 4 things.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's got 1 card left in hand, though.
1 card left.
Oh, he shuffled away the Liliana, though. That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He has 1 card left, and Farrell still has 40 cards in his deck, I'm sure. Sure. But he doesn't have a clock. So it's going to give Andrew time to...
Wait, did Farrell fail to find? Oh, my gosh.
What?
Farrell failed to find a basic.
Because the other basics were milled.
That's hilarious.
He should have looked at the pile first. Or could he
well,
not? He couldn't look at the pile first because there was no pile.
He has to search for the Field of Ruin.
Yeah, Field of Ruin makes you search. You can just fail to find, yeah.
Okay, well, I've fetched shock like every turn because I thought it was relevant.
Oh boy, here it comes.
Let's cast a BB. Yeah. Inquisition him.
Yes, ban.
Alright. So 26? Well, you're casting it. Yeah, I was casting it, sorry. Throw me, yeah.
Oh boy, here's another 2 archive traps. Well, Andrew might get this game, and I'm going to make fun of Farrell later.
Wow. 7 cards.
All right, get decked, nerd.
Get wrecked.
Mind if I organize it just so I can see what's left in there?
Oh my gosh. Just draw a glimpse of the unthinkable and put Farrell out of his misery.
He's trying to surgical something, so he takes cards out of his deck.
Nice. Oh shoot. That is sick. And as long as he does this efficiently, like as long as he does this like quickly, you know, he's not like
He's not taking up a ton of time.
oh man, he can figure out like how many of each copy Farrell has left. Bloodbraid Elf. No, there's one more Bloodbraid Elf, one more Scoos. Or there were only 2 Dark Confidence over there?
Yeah,
Dark
he
Confidant.
probably only plays 3.
Hmm.
Oh, it's extirpate, not surgical.
Probably can't afford surgical. Surgicals are like $50 now.
Draw step.
In your dust, okay. I'm going to extricate it like that off in that.
Nope.
Nope.
Only 3. Should have gotten the Goyf.
Yeah, you know that's a 4 of.
Yeah.
Bloodbraid is a little bit scarier though, but it does.
I sold my surgical extractions to Star City Games. They're paying. They gave me 25 a piece for them. That's insane.
Wow.
Surgical extraction is a $50 card. I'm telling you, everyone's playing it.
Yep, I got my 2. I'm never getting rid of them.
Is a fine alternative to surgical. If by fine you mean budget, yes.
No, it's you know what it's good in?
What?
Gifts Ungiven. Gets
Okay.
extirpate, surgical extraction, Snapcaster Mage.
Okay. Okay.
It's great. I love it. Goif, Goif.
That echo insurance will render there.
Should have taken his Goyfs.
Yep.
So, Goyf is everything but enchantment, tribal, and planeswalker. Or, I mean, yeah, everything, but pretty sure there's artifacts.
This is a 2-turn clock, boys.
Farrell's gonna win.
He's gonna win because Andrew didn't surgical extract his Tarmogoyf for no reason.
Yeah. Ooh.
And he's not casting the
Oh.
hard cast archive trap.
I was like, wait, what am I?
Okay.
Bolt got shot.
Well,
1-1. Farrell lost to Mill.
Farrell lost to Mill. I'm just gonna roast him later for that.
Oh, you know what I played the other week?
What?
Cat Pact.
Nice.
You know how I won my game when someone unmoored egoed my demonic pact.
That's how Zach I'll take this one. This is how Zach Harris and I met. Like
Yeah.
the first time. It's like the first time you played Modern here. This is like a while. This is like
This
going
was
on, like, 3
end
years
of.
ago.
No, I haven't been playing Magic for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was end of 2016.
It's 2019.
End of 2017? No, wait. When did I start? Yeah.
This
so,
would have been like halfway through. This would have been.
So it's almost 3 years I've been playing Magic.
Okay. So anyway, he's playing like a Grixis control deck. I'm like, okay, you know, I get game 1, he gets game 2. He like sweeps my board with Anger of the Gods and then plays a Cletus. I'm like, well, I can't beat that, so that's fine. And then game 3, he plays like this he plays this Demonic Pact card, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I kind of just disregard it. And then after all the modes go off, he gives it to me with Cat Pact, and I lose. And I'm like, I'm so mad. I am so angry. But the lesson here is that I did not take my opponent seriously, did not treat the game seriously, and I lost. So there you go. You should always take, if you're not going to take the game seriously, then why would you expect to win? So there you go. That's how we met, and it's a funny story. Now I was mad, I was embarrassed at the time, but it's funny now, and we get to laugh about it.
Yeah. But deck is okay. I enjoy it a lot. It's my like meme deck.
Yeah. Oh, Thopter Sword's not your meme deck?
Thopter Sword. Cat Pact is better than Thopter Sword.
Really? That speaks volumes about Thopter Sword. And to think that card was banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very silly, but no one knows what's going on.
Yeah, man.
So it works. Like, so my favorite story about Cat Pact. So, playing versus control player, right? He has counter spells for days.
Yeah.
On my Harmless Offering. So I play a Cat Pact. He's like, okay, I'm going to let it resolve. I'm just going to counter the Cat Pact. It's what I think he says in his head. So I'm like, okay, so my turn, I draw 2. I hit 2 more packs. So I'm like, okay, I play a Pact. Same thing, whatever. Do 4 damage and draw 2. Play another Pact. He's like, okay, go to my turn. Discard 6 cards to a control player. Have a Dispel in hand. Give you this? Dispel. Win the game. That's my favorite thing that I've ever done with the deck.
Hell yeah. You knew what was going on, and they didn't. So
yeah, exactly.
Just get them.
Modern is a knowledge-based format. Two to you and you discard. Archive traps. Did he mill 14? Maybe I miscounted. I'm sure Farrell didn't. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both here.
I've been here.
Okay, Justin, you got distracted. I see. Okay. Is that another?
Yeah, I mean, you should always take, like, if you want to win, you should take the game seriously. Farrell wants to win. He's taking this seriously. He knows what all these cards do.
Yep.
That's probably the thing that I respect the most about Farrell is he takes every game seriously. And that's why, like, he has a good win rate at competitive level Magic.
Awkward. No fetchables.
I suppose I could check, but, you know, it is what it is.
Do you mind if I count?
Oh, God, I think Farrell's going to lose this game. Oh, man.
That's the Visions of Beyond.
Yeah,
three.
Like, if you want to win, you should take the game seriously. That's all. Like,
yeah.
You're going to make, if you're going to play sloppy, you can't, like, I also, like, not only is, like, it a, no, is it a, like, we were saying it's a knowledge format, but it's also, like, a no, there's a no margin of error allowed.
Yep.
Because, like, you are playing your deck, and, like, because your opponent knows, like, how to play their deck so well, you need to also.
Yep.
Like, I made a mistake on Tuesday against my elf player, and I lost. I made a mistake against my spirit player, and I lost. I made one mistake each match, and it cost me the match. One mistake in one game cost me both of those, and I'm just saying, like, there's no margin of error. I think Farrell just lost.
He did.
Wow, I am gonna roast him. Oh man. If I knew this was going to be on camera, I would have made a bet with him. So, like, when Farrell and I bet, he usually says, all right, Zach, if this happens, you get to beat me with your belt. And I wear a seat buckle belt. So, like, my belt buckle is pretty heavy. If we had made this bet, I bet that's what the conditions would have been. Like, I would get to beat Farrell with my belt. Not that I would, because I am
a meme.
I am a pacifist. But he probably would have made that bet. And, yeah, well, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Mill beat Jund. So there you go. All right, there's Farrell signing it. Oh yeah.
That's what happens when you don't play counter spells.
That's what happens when you play. Yeah, when you don't play. When you play a slow, clunky deck. Farrell went 2-2 tonight.
Yep.
Doesn't feel good. That sucks. Well, that'll do it for our modern stream. We still have quite a bit of time to go until our pre-release. I will use this time to talk a little bit more about some Ravnica Allegiance cards. So let's bring the camera back to the commentator booth. Come on, come to me.
I'm gonna stick around through you get through the green cards and whatnot.
Okay,
but
I'll get to the multicolor cards after that.
Yeah,
and I'll do that on my own. Yeah. The multicolor cards are where this set gets really interesting because it's a multicolor set. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a multicolor set. It's cool.
Okay. Come to me. There we go. There we go. That's where it's good. So Silhana Wayfinder, I think, is really cool. It sets a new precedent for cards because this card lets you get to look at the top. Like when it comes into play, you get to look at. This one says 4. So there are a lot of cards that you look at the top, however many cards of your library. And this one lets you look at 4. You get to reveal a creature or land, and put the rest on the and then put it back on top and put the rest on the bottom. So here's a couple of things. One is you may reveal the card. You don't have to reveal the card, but if you don't reveal it, then you don't get to put it on top. Right. So there's some if you're trying to hide something for your opponent, I guess maybe you don't reveal it to them, but you're going to reveal it to them. So that's an interesting thing there is like there's the may involved. I don't know how often that'll come up. But the more interesting thing is that instead of it going to your hand, it goes on top of your library. So it is your next draw. You're setting up your next draw and getting rid of some other cards, which is sweet. Farrell is back here.
Hey,
he
Farrell.
lost to Mill.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Farrell lost to Mill. How does that feel? You want to swap out with Farrell? Farrell can talk to us about the match a little bit. All right. Well, I'm going to thank Zach Harris for joining me back here tonight. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
What
Product placement.
Yeah.
This was mine tonight. Wallachia. This is my personal favorite. I like this just as much, if not more, than Avion on my ranking of artisanal waters. So how was you lost to Mill? How was that?
I mean, game 2, both my Inquisitions basically did nothing. So
yeah,
that was huge. And sometimes he just gets you.
Yeah, he would have gotten the game. Like the shred of hope there was when you played both Tarmogoyfs. I'm like, is he going to race him right now? He should have surgical extraction the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. He was at 12 too. So like. That was lethal. He just had to draw that turn, and he did. So
yeah,
that was a coin flip.
It happens, man, and that's all. Yeah, it happens. What about game 3? So could you just not get anything going there?
Well, in Molda 6,
I saw you miss like you didn't have anything to fetch for or something.
Yeah, he actually milled over all my fetchable lands in that 2 archive traps.
Damn. Okay.
All 4 shocks and all 4 basics.
That's a very different game if you get to cast that Bloodbraid Elf. It can get you into another threat or a Liliana or something. So, yeah.
That and my Molda 6 was double Inquisition, double Kolaghan's Command. Like, all right, let's
try well,
it.
I'm not going any lower.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, wasn't a good hand, but
it happens. So I'm back here. Well, that sucks. I'm sorry you lost, but we did have a request for Mill, so you guys at home got to see that.
Yep.
We're talking about some Ravnica Allegiance cards. We're just getting through the green cards. I was talking about the Silhana Wayfinder card. I think it's interesting. Like instead of drawing the card, it puts the card on top of your library, and I think this sets a new precedent for cards like this.
Yeah.
Maybe they could make like an Ancient Stirrings, where imagine Ancient Stirrings if they didn't get the card immediately, it went on the top of their library. It's very, very different. The immediacy it's like. With Serum Visions, you're setting up the next couple of turns. Like, you're getting a random card and then setting it up, and that's why that card is fair. Yep. The cards that give you the immediacy, like Faithless Looting and Ancient Stirrings, that's the thing about those. And so this, it's kind of cool that it doesn't give you the card immediately. Because
that's why Preordain's banned in Modern, but Serum Visions doesn't.
Right, exactly. And, like, who needs the card right now? It's a 2. You're playing this on turn 2. You're playing this on turn 2 and setting up your next turn or your next couple of turns. So you're not going to be able to cast the card anyway. It's worse when this is like your top deck and you have 6 mana and you would really like to hit this into 4-drop, but like whatever. Moving right along. Trollbred Guardian is, again, like I keep getting back to this point, is that there's just such a glut of 5 mana cards, and this is a great one. Like this is going to, like I was saying, Mammoth Spider would normally be a main deckable card, and the only reason, and I'm not saying that you don't main deck it, but in this set, you're going to have a lot of competing 5-drops, and this is one of them. This is a 5/5 for 5. Eventually, it can be a 7/7, and then it has Trample, and that also gives all of your, and then like the immediacy of this card is if you have other creatures with +1/+1 counters, they have Trample. All of your Riot creatures, all of your adapted creatures, they all have Trample now. This is a +1/+1 counter payoff card. Great card, and already being a 5/5 to boot, like this card could have been made a Riot card or an Adapt card, and it would be great. Even if you got rid of the even if you got rid of the second line of text there, it's still a great card. And this is why like the Adapt cards are all really great. It's like this is an 8-mana 7/7 Trampler. Okay, now we're getting into the multicolor cards, the really interesting ones. Aeromunculus, the 2/3 for 3 flyer. Already ahead of curve. It's got that extra point of toughness. If you're talking about a 3-mana flyer, the bar is set at Windrake, which is a 2/2 for 3 with flying, and this has an extra point of toughness, and Adapt 1 for 4, which is steep, but you know, eventually you're going to want this mana sink, and you'll get a 3/4, and that's really where you want to be in the sky. There's a lot of 3/3 flyers, and this will let you trade or potentially survive that, which is good. It gets you to the late game. Applied Biomancy. This is, I think, the best. Like, this is one of the good. This is one of the good Simic creatures. Applied Biomancy is the best Simic common. This card is insane. This card is the. This is the Artful Takedown of the set. You heard it here first. Artful Takedown was a busted multicolor common, a reason to be in Deemer. This is a really good reason to be in Simic. Simic doesn't have removal, and this is very close. You're going to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature and let it like survive combat. You're going to put a +1/+1 on your 3/3 to make it a 4/4. Their 3/3 dies, and then you get to bounce their 5/5 that you weren't trading with anyway, and now they have to replay it. It's great. This card is fantastic. Yeah, I'm all about this card. The next one is one of my, I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, Azorius Night Arbiter. This is one of my top probably 5 favorite cards of the set. I really like this card. 2 mana. It's a 5 mana 2/5 with vigilance and can't be blocked. That's it. That one's good too though. Azorius Skyguard. It's a nice. The thing about this is it's 6 mana. That's the problem with this card. So like at 5, this is great. No, I was going to talk about this one anyway. So you see what I mean? Like you're getting for 6 mana, you're getting a 3/3. That can just get skewered. Skewer the Critics kills this. The common black removal, the 3 mana common black removal spell kills this. It is flying first strike, which is cool, but it's still a 3/3. Now the point is that like all of your opponent's creatures will be a little bit smaller. It's going to take a lot of power off of your opponent's battlefield, but it's still 6 mana. And 6 mana is a lot to pay for this.
This card kind of embodies what Azorius is in this set. It's not a control deck; it's a tempo deck, and this card is tempo.
It is. It can. This at best is going to free up a lot of attacks because your opponent's creatures aren't going to be able to trade with yours. So I'm really interested to see how this performs. This is the top of your curve. You're not going to want to have a lot of other 6-drops if you're playing like this. Like you want 0 to 3 6-drops anyway, and this is a set where you're going to always have like 2 because there's a lot of good 6-drops, and this is one of them. So I'm
Talk about
interested.
that one. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah.
You want to?
The
You
white-
like this card?
Yeah, it's like the white-black siege rhino. The Silica Bellhaunt.
I was just going to disregard this one, but
I
okay, we'll
love it.
talk about it.
This is the card. I want.
Well, I think you know what we can talk about it. But yeah, Ballistica
Bellhaunt.
Bellhaunt.
It's
Yeah.
basically white-black siege rhino.
Yeah. Okay.
It's this 4-mana 3/4. You discard a card, you gain the life. It's a huge swing, and I'm playing Orzhov tonight, and I hope to open these.
I'm thinking about playing Orzhov too.
And the art's amazing.
I like the blue flames.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, this is fine. It's fine. I wish it had flying,
Yeah.
but I always do. Or it could have like, I don't know,
Vigilance, something, any keyword.
something. I think Afterlife won.
Mm-hmm.
It probably did have Afterlife.
Got nerfed.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably nerfed this at some point. Because if you look at some of the other ones in this cycle,
Yeah.
like the Gruul one's a 5/5.
Yeah.
The Gruul one is the casual 5/5 with upside for 4, whatever. Bedevil,
Yeah.
obviously a great card.
It's going to be great in standard, great in limited. Probably not going to make any eternal play, but
No.
that's fine.
No, we've in a world where Abrupt Decay doesn't see play, Bedevil's
Yeah.
not going to get there, but
It's still cool that they make these cards, though.
yeah, this card, what I've been hearing a lot of people talk about is when this card got spoiled, is that this card is indicative of like best of one play
Yeah.
being the new norm or continuing to be the norm on Arena. And the reason is because like this card kind of just does it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to be dead. So you can have these main deck and they're always good
Yeah.
because they can just hit whatever, which I thought was interesting. I'm going to talk about this one. Bulrak Clan Crusher. Again, 5-drop. There's so many 5-drops. So many 5-drops. The body on this is good. It's a 4/4 for 5, which isn't bad. And you get to remove a +1/+1 counter from any creature you control to shock something, which is great. So, like, in your Riot decks, this is what's going to, like, if the board is gummed up, this is what's going to let you turn those +1/+1 counters into damage to maybe clear the way to get through. This is really sweet if you've got like Adapt guys, because then you're going to have multiple instances of this. This one's really cool. This is going to lets you, and then the thing about Adapt is if you get all of the counters off, you can adapt again.
Yep.
So this card is really good with some of the green Adapt creatures. All of the guild mages are good. I'm not going to talk about any of them specifically. Deputy of Detention is going to be a big player in Constructed. It's obviously good, and it's obviously going to be good in Limited too. There's just unconditional removal. Sure, it can die, but if it frees up a good attack, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Deputy of Detention.
He's getting there.
It's getting there.
We're almost at the D's.
Some of these.
Hey,
Deputy of
there we go.
Detention. So I see Deputy of Detention replacing Reflector Mage in spirits, but not in humans. Humans wants the 2/3 body. They want it to be a human, but spirits doesn't care as much about the creature type.
This will just go into all the random Coco decks that aren't themed around a creature type.
Right. This replaces Reflector Mage in every instance except for human.
Yep.
So there's that. Obviously, the Planeswalkers are good. You can read them and figure out that they're good. I will say that I like the design of them in this set. It's not just like +1 draw a card, -2 protect itself, ultimate win the game. Like, yeah, they still have 2 of the 3, but it's not just that boring formula.
Yep.
Like Dovin. I mean, Dovin is really more of a white card than a blue card. It really plays into the fact that like you're supposed to build this around like an evasive creature deck.
Yep.
So that you can get to the -7 as quickly as possible. Dovin's Acuity, which we were calling Information Campaign.
Yeah, it's similar.
It's not as good, but it is pretty good.
Right.
Like, if you like, we all know how good Disinformation Campaign was, so this is half as good. It's still a good card.
And it plays well with Addendum.
Yeah. It's your Addendum payoff card. Ethereal Absolution. This is the card This is the card Farrell and I are both hoping to
Yeah.
open tonight in our Orzhov. I'm going to pick Orzhov tonight. I want to play Orzhov.
There you go.
I'll play Gruul and Simic, and Azorius
Some other time this
some
weekend.
other time this weekend. But I want to play Orzhov. I think Orzhov has the best payoff cards, and this is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This card is great. This card is fantastic. It is your creatures, your opponent's creatures are going. Everything's going to be the same size.
Yep.
Orzhov's creatures are smaller than everyone else's, but this is making your 1/1s into 2/2s and their 3/3s into 2/2s, and then you're on the same level. And you paid less mana for yours,
Yep.
and your guys also still have afterlife. And then you get
2/2s.
yeah, exactly. This card is fantastic.
Mhm.
All around great card. Final payment. You like
Yep.
this new Terminate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another reason to be in Orzhov. Orzhov has the most common removal. A lot of good uncommon removal as well. This is a
It's-
great common removal spell.
With this Mortify and everything else that they're getting,
Mhm.
you basically can have like an almost constructed draft deck with just your removal base.
Your removal suite will be great, and what I really like about Orzhov, what Orzhov has going for it, it's got good payoff, it's got good removal, but then really just its mana curve is great. It has the best things on 2 and 3,
Mhm.
and what's lacking out of the Gruul and Simic decks are 3-drops.
Yep.
Like they have some, but they don't have as many, and you're not going to get like in sealed. You're not getting multiple copies of each card. Your deck is a bunch of 1-ofs.
Mhm.
So the more different 1-ofs that you have at each spot, the more likely it is you're going to get one of those cards. And Orzhov has the best things on 2 and 3, in my opinion.
Gruul and Simic are still going to be great tomorrow.
They
but
are very good.
We're getting hyped up about Orzhov for at least the first one.
Yeah. Oh no, Gruul and Simic are supposed to be the best. Like Simic, I think is the safest choice because like Adapt gives you a good late game.
Yep.
I'm saying that I'm more concerned about having a good mana curve, and I think Orzhov has the best mana curve. But I think Gruul and Simic are the best as far as like power level. This one, Frenzied Arnix. This card is ridiculous.
Mhm.
This is an insanely pushed common. This was one of the first cards that they revealed with Riot. With every mechanic, they revealed a rare and a common. This is a 3/3 for a 3/3 haste trample or a 4/4 trample with a mana sink.
Mhm.
They could yet another card. They could take away any line of text on this card, and it's still good.
Mhm.
This is such an insane common. This is insane. Like this is a ridiculous common. This is the best Gruul common, and I haven't even talked about the Gruul removal spell.
Yeah.
Frilled Mystic, we talked a little bit about.
Mhm.
I like how this is just like the new the new Mystic Snake.
Yeah.
Apparently, you pay double green for a 3/2.
+1/+0.
Yeah, man. We talked about Get the Point, Growth Spiral.
Yeah, it's just explore at instant speed.
Instant
It's fine. It's not going to do anything that crazy in any Eternal formats. It's fine. It's great in the Bant Nexus deck in Standard.
Nice. And I think if you get one of these, you should play it in like your Simic deck. It's fun. Like
Oh, yeah,
Simic,
absolutely.
Simic wants to ramp. You're probably not going to have anything to do on turn 2 anyway.
Mhm.
This is a great card.
Yeah. It's good for bluffing, too, because you think, oh, well, he's got 2 mana up. He's probably got the Disdainful Stroke or the Quelch. And it's
The
like,
yeah, the Quelch.
maybe they do.
Quench.
Quench.
When you when someone quenches your spell, you should take a drink of water, and that pays for it.
Right.
Gruul Spellbreaker is obviously
Yeah.
going to be a constructed bomb. It's still a limited bomb. I think you're going to be able to open them tonight in the seeded pack.
Mhm.
But like the way that the wording on the way they're doing the seeded pack this time is more like the foil you get, and the seeded pack is built around the rarer mythic that you get.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like it would have to be the cards with the water. It has to be a rarer mythic with the watermark
Mhm.
that can actually have cards built around it. And I don't know if this is that.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of build around for this card specifically.
I'm thinking it's Domri and then Nikea, like the Centaur,
Yeah.
and you would just get a bunch of creatures,
Mhm.
and then something else. So I'm really interested to see how the seeded packs work this time, because last time I did for my first one I did Boros.
Yep.
And I got Deafening Clarion.
Yep.
That was my rare. That was my foil rare.
Mm.
Barely playable. I cast it once when it was good one time.
I got that 6-drop Angel that doesn't really do anything.
Oh, that card's awful. That card is
Yeah.
awful for Boros.
Yeah.
That card's just actually like The card's actually just bad.
Yeah.
It was strangely bad. Like, what would normally be the top of your curve bomb, you really didn't want to play it in your Boros deck. And in Selesnya, whatever.
I put it in because why not? I cast it maybe once.
Right. Hackrobat is good. Okay, High Alert. High Alert, I think, is a sleeper card. This is the one that lets you assign combat damage for your toughness. So LSV gave this a bad rating, and then he was like, I will, until someone builds the 3 Pegasus 3, like the 2/5 that can't be blocked.
Yeah.
I think this is a bad card. And then I was like, that's a really good point. And I looked through all of the blue and all of the white cards.
Yep.
All of the blue and white cards in the set, save for like, you know, there's always outliers, but they all have, they're all symmetrical or have more toughness. There's a blue bird for 2 and a blue that is a 1/4 with flying that can gain vigilance if you pay to.
Yeah.
With this out, that's a 4/4. That's basically a 4/4.
Yeah.
With the Night Arbiter I was talking about, the 2/5, that's hitting for 5 unblockable, dude. That's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Your 1/3 Pegasus is hitting for 3 every turn. So you have your Senate Courier.
Yep.
This is doing 4. And what I really like about this enchantment, what I really like about, there it is, High Alert, is, so like there's, and Concordia Pegasus, see? Those all work really well. And the whole set's like that.
Yep.
There's a 3/6 giant for 6 that comes in and makes a 1/1 human. That's a 6/6. So everyone's talking about Rhythm of the Wild. Rhythm of the Wild, you want to be playing on turn 3 and then curving out.
Yeah.
What's great about High Alert is you curve out and then play your High Alert.
Yep.
You play it at the end because it affects everything that's already on the battlefield.
Yep.
And that's why I think High Alert is a sleeper card. I'm excited to draft like an Azorius deck early, like pick High Alert early and then hopefully get a second one and then just take all the high toughness creatures. So I think if you get one or two of, if you get like 2 of these tonight in your Azorius pool, play it. Like try playing it. It's really good. Like all the white and blue cards have higher toughness. Like this, I'm just saying. Imperious Oligarch.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
See, we need to get as many of these as possible. You play every single one. You get a 2/1 with Vigilance, and it's like, tack.
Yep.
Okay, do you want to trade? Great, I have a 1/1. You don't want to trade? Great, take 2.
Yep.
And what's great about this is it's like, Afterlife cards are good on, like, on the defense because you're trading and still getting a thing. This, when you attack with them, they can just take the damage. This doesn't give your opponent that option because it has Vigilance. This is just an all-around great card. I originally thought that this was the hybrid card for white and black, but it's not. It's kind of hard to cast, but you're going to need both of your colors on turn 2. But it's very good, very fair. Judith is obviously a busted, like...
Yep, very good in the Aristocrats decks.
Very busted card, constructed playable. Again, in the Andrea Mengucci, Rakdos, aggro deck that's apparently winning on turn 4 on Arena, whatever. Kaya. Let's talk about Kaya. Do I have her? I have her with me.
So while you're doing that, let's talk about Kaya. So
Kaya.
Kaya is interesting. She is maybe the first ever sideboard in mind Planeswalker.
I want it to be the full. There we go. Kaya, my girl.
I like what she does. She's very interesting. The problem with her, she doesn't defend herself like all the other Planeswalkers do.
No.
She's just there, and you have to have your other creatures already in play to do it.
Right.
And so, like...
She doesn't make one. She doesn't kill anything.
So, like, I'm a modern player, obviously. I'm trying to think of, like, when you'd want this card. Against Dredge, right?
Probably.
But like, you're gonna play it. You're gonna exile their Bloodguest or whatever.
You're gonna exile one thing.
And then they're gonna Dredge, and then they're gonna put all their stuff back into play anyways.
Yeah, they're gonna hit another one.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Because
like,
you get rid of up to 2 cards.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. It's like the first, like you were saying, first cyborg Planeswalker. Apparently this does something. Apparently this does a bunch of stuff in standard. Like it's good against like the black-green deck.
Good against the Phoenix decks, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they don't have a ton of direct damage except for Lightning Strike.
Yeah. So I thought like this was going to be when I got this playmat. I thought that this was going to be like the the art, like the art from the playmat before this, turned out to be Undercity Uprising.
Yeah.
So I thought this was going to be like a 4-mana common. Nope, it's the Planeswalker.
Right.
There you go. It's your boy. No, I like it. Even though it's a bad card, I still get to have this sweet art.
Yep.
So Kaya is really strange for Planeswalkers. I heard the joke today that by this set they were talking about like Scrabbing Claws or whatever.
Yeah.
By this set standard, Scrabbing Claws is a Planeswalker.
Interesting.
I
mean, it is.
It does two irrelevant things.
Right.
This Kaya is unimpressive, but the other Kaya is very good. Yeah, Scrabbing Claws.
Yep.
Is that not just Kaya?
That's the reprint we needed, right? Not really.
that is the graveyard card that we deserve, not the one that we need.
Right.
It's the other. Yeah, Batman's the other way around. Batman's the hero that we need, not the one that we deserve. Kaya's Wrath. That's the good Kaya. Kaya's Wrath is excellent.
Yep.
I'd be very happy to open one of these
Oh,
tonight.
absolutely. Blow up the board, get all your 1/1s. What's up?
Yeah. It's interesting that she's killing the Obsidat.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Obsidat would just come back from the graveyard the next turn.
Well, doesn't she exile from the graveyard?
Yeah, so you have to have them both. So you destroy the Obsidat and then exile them. That's what she does. But anyway, I just think it's funny. It's a hard-to-cast Wrath with a minor upside, and that's fine. I mean, we're at the place in Standard where they don't really like 4-mana Wraths.
Yep.
And this is that.
Yeah.
It's just hard to
It's
cast.
double white, double black. You can't splash it. You can't play your 3-color deck and be like, oh, I'm going to cast this on
No,
turn
you
4.
have to, like, if the Esper control decks want to play this, it's a blue splash. Like,
Yeah.
you're splashing blue for Teferi. That's where they're at. Like, Frank Karsten showed the mana base that you would need to be able to cast like this and Teferi, and it is an ugly mana base. It
Yeah.
has, like, 2 basics in it.
Right.
And the basics are a plains and a swamp, not even
Right.
an island. Lavinia is a constructed card. You open this in your sealed pool. Do not play it. I'm sorry. I really hope that this can't be the watermarked card from your seeded pack. You're going to be so sad. This is why I'm thinking that it can't be. And one of the reasons why like people are advising against Azorius is because if this is your seeded pack rare,
Yep. You're done.
I'm sorry.
This is a bear in this format.
This is so much worse than the Guild Mage. Like, not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a really hard to cast bear that does nothing. But in Constructed, this card is insane. This card is going to see so much play in every Eternal format. Great card. Law Mage's Binding is the best Azorius common.
Yep.
I think it's one of the best commons in the whole damn set. Usually the pacifism is mono white, so it would see play in 40% of decks. This card is only going to see play in 20% of the decks, so that's a reason not to have like main deck like artifact or enchantment removal is in this set is it's just not going to hit a lot.
Yeah.
I was talking earlier about how your plummet effects, you should probably play one plummet effect main, but you should not play any artifact or enchantment removal main. And that's why. Mortify is obviously really good.
Yep.
Nikya of the Old Ways. 5 mana, 5/5. Can't cast non-creature spells. Double your mana.
Yep.
Wow. You untap with this, you have 10 mana.
If you're playing this in your Gruul deck, you have to be playing like 3 or 4 non-creature spells max.
Yeah, that's what, exactly. You have very, very few, like you still want your Rhythm of the Wild, you still want your Savage Smash, like whatever, but this card makes it so that your Gruul deck is like the Golgari decks from Ravnica, from Guilds of Ravnica, where you're playing a very, very low creature count, because this is what you're going towards. What's great is that you can use the mana to adapt your guys. You use them like you untap with this, empty your hand, and then you get to start like adapting your dudes. It's great. Try and if this is in your deck, try and get all of your non-creature spells like out of your hand for like before you draw it. Obviously, that would be the only deck building. Those are the deck building restrictions.
Yeah.
So I see this and Domri, like these are the two very likely cards that those are two of the very likely cards that you'll get from your seeded pack because those are actual builder rounds. Whereas like Spellbreaker is just a really good card. You're not building around that. Same thing with like the worm, that big worm. Pitiless Pontiff. This is our card. This
card's amazing.
The Pitiless Pontiff, I think, makes or breaks like the Orzhov strategy. This is how you are getting ahead on board. You're fighting through all of the
big creatures.
Instead of having to use your removal on just every 4/4 they play, you get to play this, and then the 2/1 that Afterlife's for 2, and then trade, and then kill 3 things. Pitiless Pontiff. Sacrifice another creature, gains Death Touch and Indestructible. Yeah. Good both offensively and defensively. That's why it's not like Death Touch, First Strike. Death Proof. That's what that is. Death Proof. You can't die and you kill everything else. Great card.
The other thing is, if you're on a board stall and you got your flyers, you can just keep flying over and leave this back on defense. It's like, all right, do you want to try to attack me with your 5/5 now? I'm just gonna kill it. Yeah,
exactly. It's great, fantastic card. This is why I didn't want to. This is one of my reasons why I didn't want to open Simic. If I got Prime Speaker Vannifar, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do with this card.
That's the problem with all those like pod style decks. Is you need to have a plan for every card you could draw, and I just don't have the brain power.
I don't know how to play those kinds of decks, and you got to beat the player, not the deck. If I have to build a Prime Speaker Vannifar deck, I don't know what to do. But for people who like playing Collected Company and Eldritch Evolution and Court of Calling decks, this card's great. People who remember Pod. Pod was like right before I started playing. It was like a little while before I started playing Modern, but. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with this, so like I'm kind of concerned if I want to do a Simic thing that I'm going to get this and not know what to do.
Right.
I'm much more in my comfort zone playing like Gruul and Orzhov and Azorius, so I think those are the ones I'll start with and maybe do Simic last.
Yeah.
But this card's probably fine. I can't really make heads or tails of it. Rakdos Firewheeler is very good. 2 damage to target opponent, 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. I like that.
It's like a light version of Flame Tongue Kabu.
Nice.
Yeah.
4/3. I like that it always does 2 to the opponent, and then the choice is 2 damage to the creature or planeswalker. Usually the damage to the player is the choice. Like you can do the damage to the player or the planeswalker.
Yeah.
But this always does it to the player, and then you get to pick, which is really sweet. Obviously, if they have a planeswalker, you're probably going to want to go after that. But yeah, all around solid card. I like the next one, Rakdos Rastabout, because I've been talking a lot about how like the 3-drop slot in the set is like wide open. There's just not a lot of good 3-drops, and this is like the good Rakdos 3-drop. If it gets blocked, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker, which is cool. So it will always trigger Revolt if you need it to. If you want to throw this guy away to deal 1 to them, so you can trigger your I said Revolt, but it's actually Spectacle. If you want to trigger your Spectacle, you can, and it's a 3/2. I mean, it's going to trade down a lot, but it can also trade up. Like it's not great. Like the 2-toughness isn't great, but it's fine. Rakdos the Showstopper is hysterical because there are like 2 other demons and 1 devil, and I don't even know. There's an imp. There is an imp. Yeah, there's like 1 devil, there are 2 demons, and 1 imp. That's it. There aren't a lot of cards that this isn't going to hit. Your chances of killing everything on the battlefield are really low. I think it's fine. I mean, it's still a 6-mana 6/6. Hopefully you kill more things of theirs than of yours, but whatever. Ravager Worm is obviously a busted card. People have been calling this a worm command because you have 4 choices. Riot's 2 choices, and then it's 2 different things. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I've already seen people playing that in Standard already.
Oh, man. I mean, it's cool. Like, really, you want this to be a 5/6? Like, you want this to be a 5/6 and then fight something. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, usually.
Like, the activated ability, like the land with an activated, that's actually, there aren't any. There's like, I don't think there are any. Rhythm of the Wild. So if Gruul ends up being the best strategy, it's just going to be whoever has the most. Tonight is going to be about whoever has the most busted Gruul deck, and it's going to be whoever has the most Rhythm of the Wild. They're going to be the Gruul decks with the Rhythm of the Wild, and there's going to be the ones without, and there's going to be some lucky bastard in the room that gets 2 of these, and it's going to have it on turn 3 every time, and just stomp everybody.
No, yeah, this card is busted and limited. If you get this card and you're not in Gruul, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, this would pull, this has the power to pull someone. I mean, like, the seeded pack is really great.
Yeah.
But, like, if you open this and a bunch of good Gruul cards, you could just completely ditch your.
Yeah, you need to consider playing this card if you open it.
Every set has one. This is the mythic uncommon. Not even close. Like, last set was Disinformation Campaign.
Yep.
Rhythm of the Wild is so good. People are going to, like, this is a constructed card. People are already talking about the week 1 standard deck is like this Rakdos deck, and then the Gruul deck. The Gruul deck that puts Llanowar Elves, and then this out. Like, this is their turn 2, and then they just don't, and then they just play a bunch of hexproof haste creatures.
Yep.
Yuck.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. And I'll be back before midnight.
Okay, I have some more cards to talk about.
I'll see if
Thank you.
I'll see if anybody wants to come back.
Yeah. I'm almost done. Well, thank you, Farrell.
Yep.
I'll see you at the pre-release, and we'll Orzhov some people. Rubble Belt Runner, I like. Again, this is a 3/3, which is sweet for a 3 with upside. Can't be blocked by tokens. You get this, you're playing it. If you're in Gruul, you're going to play as many of these as you get. Trust me. You open 3, you're playing all 3. This just trades with everything really well. The cards I'm the most concerned about are like the 3/2s or 3/1s, because they're just going to trade down. This trades with everything. And then can't be blocked by your opponents, like straggling. Like, it can't be, they're not going to be able to chump block it with their token, which is something. If they want to block it, they have to block it with a real card, which is cool. Just a solid playable. Savage Smash is the premier, like, Gruul removal spell. So the Frenzied Arnex is that is the common Gruul creature. This is the common Gruul removal spell. Savage Smash, again, you're in Gruul, you're going to play as many of these as you can. If you're in Simic, you have incentive to splash red now to try and pick these up, because you're also going to have big guys. +2/+2 fights. The +2/+2 is going to help you have your guys survive. Like, you make your 3/3 a 5/5, fight their 4/4, attack, sets up a good attack. Great card. All the guild mages are good. Seraph of the Scales is obviously busted. I would really like to open one of these tonight. I really like Seraph of the Scales. I'm a big fan of, like, just any angel in general. Seraph of the Scales does a lot. It's almost like a it reminds me kind of like of a Brightling or Morphling or whatever, because it has, like, those different modes and everything. Vigilance. The thing with this, so the Vigilance on this card isn't, like, super relevant, because you're probably not going to want to block with this anyway. It's still kind of fragile with the 3 toughness. But, if it can trade with your opponent's really good flyer, that's fine. And it's still, because it leaves behind 2 afterlife. It leaves behind, afterlife tokens, so that's cool. But the Vigilance on this isn't, like, super relevant. The Death Touch is. It will always trade. So being able to, like, leave back, if you, like, spend the white to give it Vigilance and then hold up a black, they know that whatever they attack with that it can trade with anything. And that is cool. That is valuable. It's a really good card. I'm not sure that it's, like, a mythic quality. I would have liked to. What else could they have done, though? Make it a 4/4? It's a really solid card. It almost makes me want to put, like, a it makes me think of, like, the Boros Angels decks that were good at the beginning of last standard. You could be playing this in the spot of Aurelia and play black instead of red. If that's a deck, I would want to play that deck, but it's probably not a deck. You, like, curve out. You would get to play both knights, both of the hexproof from a color knights, and then curve out, like, this into Lyra. That would be cool. Shark to Crab. Shark to Crab, just an insane card. Oh my goodness. Shark to Crab is great. 4/4 for 4. That gets to Frost Link something whenever a +1/+1 counter is put on it. And it can adapt itself, but there are a number of really great other ways to put +1/+1 counters on creatures. This is really good with that Simic, that common that puts a +1/+1 counter and then taps something. Oh my goodness. You make this a 5/5, tap something, bounce something else, and then attack. That's insane. This is an insane sequence. Or you can, you untap. This is something that you're going to want to untap and then adapt, and then use that instant that I was talking about for future uses of it. It doesn't care. Keep in mind, Shark to Crab does not care how the +1/+1 counter gets put on it. It just cares that the +1/+1 counter is being put on it. And I actually think that the fact that it only gets 1 from the adapt is a potential upside of this card, because it makes it so that it's very easy to take the counter off of it and then do it again. You want to be able to do this as many times in the game as you possibly can, so being able to take the +1/+1 counter off and have it fresh and being able to be used again is going to be very powerful. Great card, excellent reason to be in Simic. Yeah, and you're not getting you're just not getting better than this. Sphinx of New Prov. Sphinx of New Prov, again, 4 power, it's a 4/3 flyer, vigilance. This card is really interesting. I like it a lot. But when you compare this to, what is it? What was it, like Midnight? Oh, man. Night Veil Predator. Night Veil Predator from the last set. They don't even compare. Like, Night Veil Predator is just like a busted uncommon. Like, you want to talk about mythic uncommons, Night Veil Predator. I mean, compare this to Night Veil Predator. It's not even close. This is still good, though. Like, look at this card, and then look at Night Veil Predator. Look at that. That's not even close. Like, yeah, the Sphinx of New Prof makes the kill spell cost 2 more. Night Veil Predator just has hexproof. Flying Death Touch, like the vigilance, again, the vigilance on Sphinx of New Prof is kind of irrelevant because you're not going to want to block. You don't want to block with your flyer. You don't want to block with your flyer. This is just going to die. It's cute that it has vigilance, but you're not going to want to trade away your flyer for no reason. Whereas with the Night Veil Predator, you were making the active choice, like, okay, I can trade with anything. I have Death Touch. That thing was unkillable. Like, unless through combat, and then you're trading with it. So if you just compare the two, it makes Sphinx of New Prov look a lot less good. But Sphinx of New Prov is still like a very playable card. Like, you're in Azorius, you're playing this. Cards like these kind of lock you out from playing a third color, but I don't think you really want to be playing a third color anyway. There's a lot of there's these, and then a lot of other double white or double blue cards. Anyway, the other one that puts this to shame in this set though is Sunder Shaman. Sunder Shaman is just I was telling Farrell, it's a casual 5/5 for 4 mana. Okay. Sure. Like, I've been saying a lot of the cards in the set could just, not have one of the lines of text that they have. This is another one. I think this card could not have either one of these lines of text, and it would be good. 5/5 for 4, dude. You're ahead of curve. Can't be blocked by more than one creature, so they have to have their own 5-power creature to trade with it. And then if it does combat damage, they get to destroy an enchantment or artifact. Sure. Why not? I don't know why it does that second thing. The first thing is insane. What more can I say? This is just a ridiculous card. Tesla Karlov. I'm hoping to open in my Orzhov deck. This card is just fantastic. So what this does is it makes it so that like all of your Afterlife guys trigger Afterlife an additional time. So all Afterlife 1 become Afterlife 2. All Afterlife 2 become Afterlife 3. Triggers an additional time. Yeah. Great card. Makes all of them bigger. Fantastic. I like it a lot. Great build around. Zagana, Utopian Speaker, is going to be one of the things that you'll be able to open in Simic. If I do a Simic pre-release, I'm hoping to open this. This is just so much more straightforward. It's probably going to draw you a card, give all of your. Yeah, this is like the Trollbred Warrior. Like there's 2 cards that care about +1/+1 counters. That will give them, then end up giving them trample, and then has adapt for. So this can be an 8/8 trampling, 8/8 trampler that draws you a card when it comes in. The amount of times this, like if you cast this on curve, it's probably not drawing you a card, but I wouldn't hesitate to just slam this on the battlefield on turn 4 and then untap and adapt it. Zerta Goblin is the Gruul 2-drop in addition to the Guild Mage and then one of the other goblins. This card is great. This is Watchwolf. It's Watchwolf or a 2/2 haste. Great. What more good you want? Great card. Now we're to the hybrid mana cards, which are actually a lot worse in this set. Footlight Fiend isn't playable. Rubble Slinger leaves a lot to be desired. Scuttle Gator, there's better 6-drops. Senate Griffin is fine. I wish it was a 3/3, and I wish it scryed 2, but it's a 3/2 that scries 1. I just think that this could have been a little bit more pushed. Senate Griffin is a solid playable. You're going to play it. Yeah. Scuttle Gator is fine if you can have another way of putting +1/+1 counters on it without having to adapt, because it adapts for 8. I mean, yeah, then you have a 9/9, but like that's a lot of mana. It's fine. I think it's fine. It doesn't have trample, but there are 2 cards in the set that will give creatures with +1/+1 counters on them trample. And you're probably going to have one or the other. I know one's an uncommon and one's a rare, but there being 2 different cards, and then there's the one that gives flying also, which is good. The Vizkopa Vampire I was originally excited about just because of I was originally excited about the Vizkopa Vampire and the Rubble Slinger because of just the lack of 3-drops in the set. But now that I think about it, this has 1 toughness. This is just going to die to everything. I'm going to play it tonight because I'm going to open one. I'm sure it's going to be in my seeded pack, but it's not great. It's fine. It's good enough. But it trades with everything. It still dies. Yeah. You're going to gain your 3 and they're going to lose a creature, but it's not great. Whatever you're trading down. You're trading down. The times that this goes, just has a clean attack, are few and far between. Are just so few and far between. And now we get to the split cards. I think Collision Colossus is good. I think Depose Deploy is good. Thrash Thrall is good, and Warrant Warden is good. So both of the red-green. So both of the Gruul and both of the Azorius are good. And I also think that Incubation Incongruity is good. So each guild has 1 good split card, but Azorius and Gruul, both of them are good. And obviously what's sweet about these is the front part, the front part is playable in any deck. So what's great about all the hybrid mana cards is that they can see play in any hybrid card has a 60% likelihood of seeing play. Warrant will see play in an Azorius deck or a Simic deck, and is the easiest to cast in Azorius. That's 3 of the 5, which is 60%. Unlike the multicolor cards, which can only see play in 20% of the deck, and the monocolor cards, which you can only see play in 40% of the decks. Hybrid cards can see play in 60% of the deck. So if you open a Warrant, like if I open a Warrant tonight in my Orzhov pool, I am playing it. I'm also incentivized then to play my Azorius Guild Gates, because sometimes I'm going to want, and this was actually my favorite though, because I love Sarah Angel, I love Sarah Sphinx, I love 4/4 flying vigilance creatures. I'm still waiting for the black-green one wizards. I'm still waiting for the black-green 4/4 flying vigilant creature, because they said that they would make one of those. But I really like this card. It's a great card, both early and late, and you're going to play this in any white or blue deck. I think this is the best one. But there are a lot of other good ones. Both of the red-green ones are also very good, and the other white one is too. I just think that they're a cut above the rest. Now we get to the lockets. So in Guilds of Ravnica, the lockets weren't great. They were okay if you wanted to splash. But there wasn't really a lot, necessarily a lot of that going on. And then most of the strategies were pretty aggressive, other than Deemer. It could also go late, but your slots, you really wanted instants and sorceries for your payoff, because there were a lot of creatures that cared about instants and sorceries. This set is different though, and I think the Azorius Locket and Simic Locket are both very good. Because with Azorius, you're going to want to be leaving up your instants, or you're just going to want more mana, so that in both strategies, you're going to want more mana. Simic, so that you can get to your adapt, your adapt creatures, so you can start adapting earlier and get to the higher part of your curve. I think that this is very important. I think that a Simic deck should play the first Locket for sure. Because there are going to be a lot of spots where you don't necessarily, if you miss your 4th land drop, you will lose the game. And you'll be able to get to 3 pretty easily, and if you get to 3, play your Locket, you don't need to draw another land. If you do draw another land, great, you can start getting to your 5s. You're so far ahead. But I definitely think the Simic deck should be playing the first Locket. And the Azorius decks are also probably going to want to as well. They get to leave open a lot of the instant speed spells, and then if your opponent doesn't play into your counter spell, great, you crack your Locket. So Azorius and Simic Lockets are very good. I don't really see the other ones being great, but I do think these two are quite good. And as far as the other artifacts are concerned, yeah, not really a lot going on. I think that, which one? The Glass of the Guild Pact is probably a sleeper card. In the last set, there was the land that, it was such a weird land. You had to pay 1, it came into play tapped, and you had to pay 1, and then you could tap it for any color, and if you use that mana on a multicolor creature, you got a +1/+1 counter. This is just way simpler. This is just way more straightforward. This just automatically gives them all. This card is going to be really good in Orzhov because the spirits are black and white. I want everyone to remember that. The spirits are black and white. Let's get this. If you can get the spirit token up, the spirit token is really sweet too. When you look at the tokens for this set are really sweet. The only reprint of the set is Gateway Plaza, and then the other land is it's Plaza of Harmony. If you control 2 or more gates, you gain 3 life, and then it can tap for a colorless or 1 mana of any color a gate you control can produce. I'm surprised it itself isn't a gate, But whatever. So that takes care of that. Then you got all your gates. You got all your shocks. And then your tokens. And the tokens for this set are pretty sweet. There's your spirit. That's the Grim Reaper, man. That is sweet, dude. That is great. Let's get the Sphinx. Oh, there's your human. There's your human. Hero of Precinct 1. And then there's a giant that makes this, a 3/6 giant that makes one of these for 6 mana. There's your little illusion. They're so cute. Little cuttlefish. Little cuttlefish. They're adorable. There's your zombie on the unplayable Awaken the Erstwhile. Do not play that card. Do not play Awaken the Erstwhile. Here's your goblin. Goblin's pretty cool. I like the blue. I like all the shadow on it. There's the centaur, which is on an unplayable card. Destroy all. It's like Fracturing Gust, except every player gets to make a bunch of 3/3 centaurs. It's awful. Yeah, it's just bad. Here's this frog lizard from one of the the split card. Yeah, the split card gives you a 3-mana rapid hybridization, which is fine. It's fine. Like, it's seriously fine. Here's the ooze from the Ooze Lord. That's what Mark Rosewater really wanted an Ooze Lord somewhere. That he's been wanting to do an Ooze Lord make an Ooze Lord for a while, and there you go. Oh, what's funny is there are other oozes in the set. The one of the elf chick, the elf ooze, whatever, she's an ooze. So if you have them both out, she'll get a +1/+1 counter. I think that's the only other ooze, though. I was hoping there were other illusions for. Anyway, this is the beast that the rare Gruul split card makes. This one's fine, and this one is so beautiful. This is the Sarah Angel. This is the Sarah Sphinx that the Azorius rare split card makes. Gorgeous. I really like this one and the Spirit. Those are by far my favorites. I'm gonna want one of these just to have in general. Man, I really like 4/4s with flying and vigilance. And then the Thopter. I like the Thopter a lot too. The Thopter has I think the Azorius guild symbol right in the back is very tasteful. It brings out the color very well. I really like that Thopter a lot actually too. It even has the watermark, which is sweet. Oh yeah, the treasure token. Yeah, there's a treasure token in the set, which is really weird, but it has the Orzhov. I think this is pretty cool. I hope I don't open that card. And then your emblems. So to round this out, bring up. Yeah, that's it. That's everything. So to close it out, I want to bring up Sarah Sphinx, which is a card from Planar Chaos, because the Warden card makes a 4/4 flying Vigilant Sphinx, and there is a precedent for this. It's not just Sarah Angel; it is the color-shifted Sarah Angel, which is Sarah Sphinx. And I don't know if everyone knows about that card, but I really like that card. Here it is, Sarah Sphinx. You get the beautiful white text on both the name and in the creature box. There you go. This was a rare in Planar Chaos, because back then, Sarah Angel was still a rare, and this is the color-shifted version of that. So if Sarah Angel and Sarah Sphinx had a baby, it's the token from Warden. So there you go. And that does it. Those are just a couple of the hot takes on all the cards I'm really excited about. And I hope that everyone at home is on their way, is going to participate in a pre-release tonight, either at preferably at their local game store. But I know it's up on Arena. I'm not sure if it's on Magic Online, but it probably is. And yeah, I'm really excited about the set. I hope it's a lot more balanced than Guilds of Ravnica. Guilds of Ravnica really came down to just Boros and Deemer. I'm hoping that all of the guilds are more balanced in this one, and that it really doesn't matter which one you play, that they all have good mid and late game. But Yeah, yeah. I'm playing Orzhov tonight. Even though I think that Gruul and Simic are probably the best, if not the safest choices, I think that the upside on Orzhov is enough that that's really where I want to be. I think Orzhov will have a very good curve, but we'll see. I'm interested in playing all of them. I'm really looking forward to figuring out the format. I'll be playing all of them in draft. In draft, it's still going to be whichever one is the most open. Like, if you're the only one at your table, it doesn't matter which guild you pick. You want to be in that guild, period. What is the most interesting thing, what will be the thing to determine is which guilds can support multiple players the best and the easiest and the best. You could easily have 2 Boros and 2 Deemer players at the table for Guilds of Ravnica, and they were both still great. I know from drafting Golgari and Is It a Lot that it really suffered when someone else was at the table. It wasn't terrible. They were fine, but they did suffer, and that Boros and Deemer were still the best. So that's really what I want to learn here. This sealed is a little bit different because you get the seeded pack, and you're incentivized then to, like, you're going to get a lot of good cards from whatever guild that is that you want to play. So you'll probably end up playing that. It's going to take a lot for you to, it's going to take a lot to pull you from playing the busted cards that you get in your seeded pack. So you're probably going to end up whatever guild you pick, which makes it less indicative of what a regular sealed environment will look like, but there's plenty of time in that, plenty of time for that in the future. And what's great about the seeded pack is that for a lot of people, this is the Magic event that they play. I always see people at these that I never see until the next one. This is the perfect time for you to come in and start playing Magic. Pre-releases are great. They're great value. They're a lot of fun. It's a great environment for everyone of every skill level. I've been playing Magic for the better part of a decade, and this is my first opportunity to play with these new cards, just as it is someone who started playing like last week at the open house. So pre-releases are great, and I really hope everyone at home is gonna be at one. So we got 30 minutes until our start. I'm gonna call it a night here on this. Thank you guys, everyone at home, for joining me tonight on the Top Deck Productions stream here at Gameswap Mason. And have fun at your pre-release, if not tonight, tomorrow, or Sunday. And happy hunting.